Kumbaga, in principle, dapat manindigan tayo batay sa prinsipyo. At least, hindi tayo puputok, pero magsasalita tayo.
Yeah, we stand for something. Country does not simply, we are not, neutrality. Some people are talking about neutrality. I think it's absurd. Kasi napakalayo naman ng gere. We won't be affected by the war directly. So there's simply no point on talking about we're neutral regarding this, because no way could a Russian jet enters our airspace being followed by a Ukrainian. So in the base of geography, declaring neutrality would, something, what for? We're so far from the actual battle scene. But this does not prevent us for standing up to certain principles.
So, can you give us a mini lecture regarding what we should take into consideration regarding the Russian-Ukraine conflict?
Unang-una, it's a matter also of looking at our certain principles. Di lang naman, country does not exist simply on the basis of interest. There is something that you call principles. And of course, nakalahad dyan sa Constitution. Very clear sa Constitution natin that we denounce war as an instrument of national policy. And in this case, you have a country, a big power, that use war. War and of course, invasion of a smaller country. And this is really a case of an unprovoked attack. And of course, I'm referring to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We might not take we do not take any position, but we stand for certain principles. And the principle is, of course, the renunciation of war as an instrument of national policy. That you have a country here that use war to advance its interests of preventing, of course, Ukraine from moving out of Russia's sphere of influence.
Okay, but what about repercussions, Professor De Castro? Kasi may mga nagsasabi, pare, quiet ka na lang dyan kasi baka magalit yung si Putin, pati tayo pag initan. In fact, I found it so pathetic that people were mentioning how it might affect our purchase of 10 helicopters? Our principles in exchange for 10 helicopters?
Yeah, of course, ayun yung na baka hindi sa ating ibalik yung down payment. Ayun yung takot ng DND. In the first place, why should we buy helicopters from a country that's under sanction, economic sanction? Well, we took the risk. So we have to face the consequences of that risk. But I don't think, just in case we stand up for our principle, Putin's and Russia's attention will be focused on Europe. It couldn't care less on what's happening here. Putin's focus right now is directed against NATO, against EU member states, and of course, towards the United States. He couldn't care less about the Philippines. Matatandaan mo, ilang beses siya inimbitahan ng ating mahal na presidente. He turned it down. No? So he couldn't care less. Ang Russian focus is primarily towards Europe.
Okay, in terms of international relations and conduct, pag ang isang bansa ba, if one nation as little as the Philippines decides on principle to declare we do not support the invasion of Ukraine, we call upon Russia to withdraw its troops, etc., does that automatically qualify as taking sides?
Well, if I'm from the Department of Foreign Affairs, I will formulate it in a manner that I won't have to mention any country. So we can be a bit diplomatic. We renounce any action of a big power using force against a country. No? You don't have to be very specific if we want to be diplomatic about that statement. So just in case, hypothetically, President Duterte would decide, he would ask Secretary Locsin. Secretary Locsin will ask a professional diplomats or a group of professional diplomats in the DFA. They will come out with a statement that, of course, would uphold that principle of, denouncing war as an instrument of national policy without mentioning any specific country. Okay. Our diplomats are very good at that. Being a member of the ASEAN. ASEAN is very good in this. No, you denounce a country, its action, without mentioning the country.